This is Newburgh Yacht Club member Art Livesey. Welcome to part one of our three-part special report on the Newburgh Yacht Club 5 years after Hurricane Sandy. Each report will feature one of our club Commodores who has served since the hurricane. We'll be telling the story of the damage inflicted on the club by the hurricane. Plus, we'll be giving you the story of the club's efforts rebuilding its docks, new swimming pool, and membership. To start us off, our first guest is past Commodore Garry Dugan. Garry was the Commodore when the hurricane struck.
Yes, we were prepared as quickly as possible. We were watching the movements of the storm, but it was the second storm that I had encountered as a Commodore. I was the Commodore from 2011 and 2012. And several months earlier, we had Hurricane Irene, and there was quite a amount of damage, a large amount of damage to the club. Pilings were destroyed, docks were destroyed. My boat alone was in peril. There were several other boats that were about to be sunk, but we managed to escape that and rebuild very, very quickly. And at the end of October, we learned of Hurricane Sandy coming in. We managed to get quite a few boats out of the water, onto land, on their jack stands. But the storm was coming in on Tuesday, and the Saturday before I came down at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there were still about 40 boats still left in the marina. And believe it or not, by 4 o'clock that afternoon, we had every boat out. Some members took their boats home, which alleviated the problem for us. But the biggest concern that we had right then and there was whether or not to take the drain plugs out of the boats. We didn't know what the storm surge would do, so we left it up to the members. I personally took my drain plug out, but it didn't make any difference. The night the hurricane came in, some members came down to try to secure their boats, but it was useless. It became almost like a domino effect. Once one boat came off the jack stands, it started bumping into all the other boats, and next thing you know, all boats were back in the water, in the driveway and in the parking lot of the yacht club. To the best of my recollection, we lost 10 boats over the night. Mine was one of them. My Greg Dombrowski, my dock partner, he lost his. My boat actually went into the swimming pool, and as the tides started to go back out, the boat came out of the pool and came to rest in the parking lot on its side. The pool was totally destroyed, the entire pool, everything. There were live wires dangling. Many of the boats, of course the boats were all over the parking lot, but many of them were piled up almost like a pyramid. And as soon as the weather was granted us, I called an emergency meeting of all the members. All members must attend. And sure enough, every member did attend. And they were all quite attentive. And fortunately, we had representatives from Boat US at the meeting, and they were able to give us some guidance because most of the members did have their boats insured with Boat US. They told us what to do and how to do it, and we ended up renting a telescopic crane that was able to reach 100 feet in the air. They picked up all of the immediate boats around this pyramid, if you will, and we managed to get the boats back onto jack stands. And then slowly but surely, it was like pickup sticks. Members climbed on the boats up to the highest point, and we put the straps under the boats and picked each one up very carefully, gingerly, and we were able to move it. The crane would just move, and not the machine, but the crane, and we moved the boat into a safe area, and then we would place jack stands under the boats. We had to move them again at later times, but just to get them to a safe area, and it took, I believe, 4 days to do this. Fortunately, the crane operator was graceful enough to stay with us until the end. Again, 10 boats were lost. And then finally there was a cleanup. We had a lot of damage to the clubhouse, damage to the gas shack. Many docks were lost, including my own. Totally lost. So we had to rebuild again, and rebuild we did. I believe it was 2 days after the hurricane. When I called the emergency meeting, we organized ourselves into groups of 10, and we did get everything back into working order again. We preserved the club, we preserved the gas house, and we started to rebuild. What we did from that point on was to try to gain new membership. Bill Cheshire, he continued in that with that goal to bring in new members, and that was carried on again by Greg Dombrowski. And to this day now we have a full complement of membership here in this club. As you can see, the marina is totally, well, right now the boats are coming out for the fall, but every slip is full, and we have a full complement of membership. Now we have come to fruition, and we are successful once again as a club. If it weren't for the members working together as a team, we would have never accomplished this. Good teamwork is what keeps a good club together.